Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's the Quarantine Concert Series, baby. Show number 68. 68. I'm your host, Kabir Segal. We're binge hosting shows. 68 and 50 something days. We're coming to you live from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, my parents' place. My mom and dad are under strict instructions not to watch, but I think they secretly do. So, hi, mom and dad. I still need all the bandwidth I can get to get these shows out into the world. And so, I want to give a special shout out to my father. He published his biography after 5 years of writing and working on it. His biography came out this past week, Close the Loop. So, it just came out. It's an American Dream story. If you want to check it out, thanks for picking up a copy. Close the Loop by Kabir Siegel. There it is. And talking about my mother, this Sunday is Mother's Day. So my mom will be co-hosting the show with me, the 10 p.m. segment. She'll be up past her bedtime. You know you don't want to miss that. Me and my mother hosting the great Lauren Henderson, jazz singer. What could be better than that? Thanks to all the moms out there. All right, so what are we doing? By now you know it's a quarantine concert series. And all the gigs have sort of gone away. International pandemic, physical distancing is sort of the medicine we're all being prescribed. And it's really tough out there for artists, musicians. And we love the artists, we love the musicians. These are the people that keep our spirits motivated, inspired, encouraged throughout the year. And this is all an effort to keep the spotlight really where it belongs and to support them in this time. And of course, it's not just the artists, it's the people connected to the artists, it's the bookers and managers and engineers and producers, anyone who touches live events. So I've seen, some concert halls are closed. Carnegie Hall has canceled events into 2021. Of course, there's some states that are opening now, but it seems like this may be the new normal. So we need to really support artists as much as we can. I recently wrote an article for Market Watch about how we can support artists. There's so many ways to do it. You can buy the music, stream the music, buy the merchandise. You can host a concert like this. You can also just send messages and be there for the creative individuals in a time of tumult, which we're definitely in. So there's all kinds of websites like Patreon. There's always been a relationship between patrons and artists, and I think if you love the music, step up, be a patron and a producer if you can. In addition, I want to thank the great folks at All About Jazz who simulcast these concerts. Michael Ritchie started this in 1995, so this is their 25th anniversary. I think, what do you get with someone on their 25th anniversary? Is it a paper mache or is it sterling? I don't know. Maybe it's a turtle. I don't know. So just happy anniversary to the All About Jazz folks. Thanks for all the great jazz journalism that you're doing. All right. Now, we've started a quarantine film series, conversations with filmmakers. A lot of film festivals have been canceled. So we're having conversations with people, these filmmakers who have been accepted into top festivals like South by Southwest or the Tribeca Film Festival. And these are in the morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And they're short 20-minute or so. And like Alice Gu, she won the South by Southwest Jury Award this year. There was no South by Southwest Festival. She won, and she did a film called The Donut King about a Cambodian American who created a donut franchise called The Donut King. So stay tuned for that. And today, word of the day. We have a word of the day. There will be a pop quiz at the end of this broadcast. If you can tell me what the word of the day is, you will get a prize. The prize will be a puppy presenting you a trophy. You know you want that. So this is the word of the day. We have two artists. Their last names start with a Z. So we thought in their honor, we would do a word of the day, which is Zart, Z-A-R-T, a directive to a musician to perform a certain passage of music tenderly, delicately, or softly. There may be some Zart today. You have to stay tuned. Listen to the incredible artists. All right, so Zart is the word of the day. Next up, where can you find us? Find us on the Facebook. Find us on the Twitter. Find us on the Instagram cracker. Very delicious. It goes nicely with marshmallows. You can make a s'more out of it. There's all kinds of cool effects on Instagram. Let's see. Right now, I have the moon flying above my head. We're also on LinkedIn. If you're looking for a job right now, a lot of people have lost their jobs. Our heart goes out to you. Hopefully this music will keep you inspired and encouraged throughout the search. We're also on YouTube and Periscope. There's my Periscope. Up Periscope, down Periscope. All right, so you want to be on the show? Let me know, Instagram or Facebook. Or reach out to Sandra and Camilo. I'm doing this show. This is like one of the only shows I've done without Sandra and Camilo. So I'm operating all the buttons and gadgets. That's why there's not all these great wallpapers and stuff. But reach out to Sandra and Camilo if you want to be on the show and put some pressure on them. Don't just put pressure on me. Put pressure on them. All right. We love all the guests, and we've been so fortunate to have so many incredible artists on the show. It's really been a pleasure. All right. So now I want to introduce the incredible artists who are joining us today. They are talented. They're geniuses. They're really creative in every single way. I want to welcome to the show the incredible maestros, maestro and maestra to the show. Please welcome the wonderful Dan and Claudia Zanes. Welcome.
Thank you,
Right. Thank you. Good to be here.
Sure is.
Awesome. Tell me first, where are you broadcasting from?
We are broadcasting from our place in Baltimore, Maryland.
We're in the house. Cool. So we have Atlanta over here, Baltimore there. If you're watching at home, tell us where you're watching from. We want to know. We want to know all the cities and countries around the world that this music is reverberating. Tell me, Claudia and Dan, where were you going to go? How's the quarantine affected your situation? What are some gigs that you couldn't do? I want people to get a sense of the opportunity cost.
We had a show at Penn State University that got canceled.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. I don't know. The minute they were canceled, we got focused on doing this.
That's right.
Doing things from home.
But a lot of shows did get canceled.
What is your day-to-day like? Like, what is quarantine life like in Baltimore? Do you have a structure to it? How do you structure the days? Do you go for walks?
Well, I would say I'm the one that sleeps in. I do love my rest. Dan's up early for us is like 9:30. Breakfast, journaling, meditation, fresh air. What else? Music making. That's a huge part of our day.
We started 58 days ago. We started something called the Social Isolation Song Series. Mm-hmm. So that's been the kind of the centerpiece to our day is taking a couple hours and going over a song that we want to send out to people. So every day we've made a video of a different song. It's all social music, songs that people can take and make their own. Mm-hmm. But things have happened along the way. John Prine died, so we did a John Prine song. Bill Withers died, we did one of his songs. So it's, we're kind of going with the times as well, but it's really just to kind of keep offering people something they can take and make their own. So that's
yeah. We already have a
daily job.
It is.
Yeah, totally. We already have a question from Isaac on Instagram. He wants to know. He's in Scotland. He wants to know, how do you guys remain in good spirits during this time, and any advice to people out there that are feeling kind of lonely?
So I would say that we try our best to be in good spirits, but it's not always the case. We're human beings. We feel it as well. But I think one thing we do well is count our blessings. As hard as this is, as challenging as this is, we have life. We're here today. We have technology, ways in which we can stay connected to people. So yes, it's not an ideal situation. I wouldn't say it's comfortable for us, but I feel like we're seeing it and just making the most out of a drab situation, a terrible situation.
And also to try and think about how we can come out of it differently than how can we evolve through this? Right. And music making has been a huge part of that.
I hear you. What would you like to begin your set with today?
I guess we're going to do, since we're sheltering in place, we're going to do a jazz tune called Don't Get Around Much Anymore.
Love it.
Miss the Saturday dance. Heard they crowded the floor. Awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. Thought I'd visit the club. Got as far
Yeah, that was an awesome rendition of that song. Whoa, you have an amazing voice.
When it's a band of two, you make the most out of it.
Yeah, totally, totally. A lot of love for you guys coming in. Some of the places that you're not getting around to in physical format, but your music's getting around to New York City. Megan in New York City is watching. You used to live in New York, right?
Yes.
So we
We've
got
been
New
in Baltimore for 5 months, but we were in New York and Brooklyn for a very long time.
Awesome. We also have Gina in Minneapolis. Last time you guys were in Minneapolis, when was that?
I don't know, but we were supposed to be in St. Paul.
It's one of the gigs that got canceled.
Just reminded us.
So Gina, you can enjoy the show from your own home. They were going to be there, and they're still there now. Very cool, very cool. So Sally has a question. She wants to know. She was reading about your background, Claudia. She wants to know what you learned in music therapy. What is music therapy? What did you study? You went to Berkeley and studied this. So the first question is asking about music therapy.
Sure. So yes, I studied music therapy at Berklee College of Music. I was into music therapy because I was particularly interested in how music could be used to connect people. That's really it. I knew how the power of music affected my life, so I was really interested in how I could connect with other people. So in music therapy, I work with a wide range of different backgrounds, populations. So kids on the autism spectrum. I work with adults, the elderly and senior residence programs, adult day health programs, psychiatric wards. So it's really using music as a way to connect with others and using that music to help people better themselves in life. So music can be used as a way to address sort of like non-musical goals. So I do songwriting. We do, breathing things through music to help with heart regulation. It might help with gait and movement. So a patient that might have just had a stroke and they're learning to regain movement. So music is scientific. It's not magic, but it feels that way at times because we know the effects of music once we're making it together, how it can elevate the spirit, elevate the mood, and address, again, these non-musical goals.
Gotcha. All right. So tell me, how do you guys navigate sort of being educators and artists at the same time? How do you know when the song is too heavy or there's like a lesson you're trying to get across to the child? How do you balance that between educating and just being fun?
Well, I think, if we're talking about children's music or, music that children listen to, I think there's a couple different ways to approach it. And one way is to give young people songs that they can carry with them through life, which is what we try to do. And the other approach is to make songs for children that are specific to their experiences as children, and that's less of what we do. So we're more interested. I think what we do is kind of the old-fashioned way. I think someone like Leadbelly was kind of the architect of what I consider to be this modern family music or all ages music. So we really try and work in that realm where it's almost like if we're at a family reunion, everybody's in the kitchen and we're the musicians in the corner, that we're going to play sometimes more for the young people, sometimes more for the grandparents, but we never want to leave anybody behind. So that's sort of how we see ourselves, but we're very committed to making music that's appropriate for young people as well, that they can learn from, and music that can be a window into the world outside.
Got it. Well, yeah, I appreciate that, and it's very inclusive music. If you have a question for Dan or Claudia, please feel free to ask it, and I'm sure they will opine. No question is off limits, of course, so ask them whatever you like, and we'll see. What would you like to perform next?
I think this is one of Dan's originals. Is that what we're going to do next?
Yep.
This is Night Owl. So this is part of our social isolation song series that Dan mentioned to you earlier. We've been putting a song out every day, and this is a perfect song before bed. Snuggle up, sing this tune. See the shadows as they creep like vines. The sun is sinking and I love this time. I guess I'm just a night owl.
The stars are winking and the hillside glows. The moon's inviting us out, so let's go. I guess we're just over the rooftops and down by the sea, throwing our cares out into the breeze, and we'll sleep when we please.
Now it's time to say hello to some friends. Follow the singing and the laughter, and then we'll find a tree filled with night owls. We'll fly over the rooftops and down by the sea, throwing our cares out into the breeze, and we'll sleep when we please. Night seems as endless as the ocean is deep, but even night owls need a little sleep. I guess it's time for this night owl. I guess it's time for these night owls.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Sounds great. Sounds great. There's Sonia De Los Santos saying "I love Night Owl" right there.
Yes, we and we watched Sonia when she was on your show. That's how we got.
Yes.
That's how we got.
So cool.
That's how we met you through Sonia.
Yeah, she's amazing. She was show number 3.
Wow.
Feels like just yesterday because I think it was. So, talk to me about your the opera project. That's really fascinating, and the work you put into it. What's sort of the theme of it, and the production process from songwriting to recording. It seemed very ambitious and amazing.
Yeah, well, the great thing is that the day I met Claudia, I felt like I met the person that I've been looking for my whole life. So, after we'd known each other just a few months, to me it was just a matter, of time, and hopefully not too much time before we would be married and be together and really just be in life together. And so we'd been maybe dating 4 months, and we were down in DC just finishing up a tribute to Leadbelly's children's music, and we went over to the Kennedy Center. One of the things that we've been very committed to since the very beginning of our performing together is what's called sensory-friendly performance, also known as relaxed performance. It's a way of creating conditions in the venue for more people to be comfortable at a show.
And so you're considering people from a wide range, again, of ability levels. Yeah.
Including kids on the autism spectrum, for example, or kids with certain sensory issues. So we're committed to that. It's the sensory-friendly performance, whatever it ends up being called, is truly the future of family performance, right, and family entertainment. So the people that we've always turned to for guidance and support have been at the Kennedy Center. Betty Siegel among them, David Kilpatrick at the Kennedy Center. So we never met them. We just called them all the time and asked them for, how do we do this? How do we do this? There's a presenter in Chicago, and they, can you talk to them about how to do this? And so we arranged to have coffee and meet them in person. And by the end of our meeting, they said, would you be interested? Can we commission you to create something as a sensory-friendly show from the ground up?
It was really about being at the right place at the right time. Yeah.
And
Timing.
It's called Night Train 57. It's America's first
sensory-friendly comic folk opera.
America's first, if you can believe that. And
So all the songs, everything was written with the idea of how can we include people. All of our performances are very much about engagement. We never see it about us being on a stage performing to people or at people, but it's how can we bring everybody into this experience. So That inspired our songwriting. We thought carefully about how could we engage people in this tune? How does that look different from the next tune? Just realizing that people engage in music in a number of different ways. So having something for everybody to do throughout this performance was really important.
And the beautiful thing about working with the Kennedy Center, not only are there incredible people in the Kennedy Center's space that were helping us, but also they would connect us with experts in the field, like Roger Edishi, who was at, where was he?
Temple.
Temple at the time. And so for us, it was an unbelievable learning experience in so many ways. Plus, we'd never made a folk opera before. So it just kind of took our knowledge of this whole idea of sensory friendly to a completely different place, and just creating a show is, if you're in showbiz, to get to create a show is a dream.
And thinking about inclusivity at the heart of it is really important too. It's cool.
Yeah, your music is so inviting, and this, when I was listening to this album, it sounded such an inviting and welcoming feel and aesthetic to it. Talk to me about the production. Where did you record the album, the mixing and mastering? People love to know about craft. We already have some questions on the craft of this project, so talk to me about that.
Talk about the studio where we recorded.
Oh, where did we record it? We recorded it in our basement in Brooklyn, and so everything that we do is kind of homespun, and it's always we're always trying to make music that sounds like people in a room in a house. And so a good way to get that to happen is to record in a room in a house.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have plans to take this, once the world reopens again, to take this folk opera and stage it in other venues? Would you like to do that?
Actually, we have been doing that, Kabir. So that's been the show in Pennsylvania at Penn State University is the one that got canceled, of Night Train 57. So it has been traveling, but yeah, we would love to be able to take it around more after all this is lifted.
Gotcha. Well, it's a beautiful project, and I encourage everyone to go to danandclaudia.com, and they have all kinds of information on this project, incredible project, also about them. Also go to Spotify and the streaming services to subscribe to their channels so you get notified on their new music and all their releases. It's a must. So danandclaudia.com, also the social media, and they're doing their own quarantine edition of these incredible songs. They're always changing the backdrop and writing on the slate. It's awesome. It's great to see you putting so much positivity and creativity in the world. We really need your voices now. So thanks for filling the world with your radiance.
Thanks, Kabir.
Thank you.
Of course, what would you like to perform next?
So do we want to do La Sienne or do we want to do Panama Tombe?
Let's do that.
La Sienne? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do, this is a Haitian folk song. My family's from the island of Haiti, Port-au-Prince to be exact, the capital. And one of the most beautiful things about the country, there's so many, the food, the art, the people, but the music is alive, it is well, it is thriving. And so this song is a song that's been around for, many generations. It's called La Sirène, and La Sirène is the mermaid. And this mermaid is a deity. She is gorgeous. She has a story. It is said that this mermaid, she's just absolutely stunning. She's gorgeous, and a lot of people at sea lock eyes with her. And when you do, it is said that she captures your soul, and you live in the depths of the sea with her for 7 years, where she shows you the underwater world. So this is La Sirène, which means the mermaid, and La Baleine, the whale. Chapon tombé dans la mer, cap pété avec la sirène. Chapon tombé dans la mer,
cap pété avec la sirène. Chapon tombé dans la mer, cap dansé la sirène. Chapon tombé dans la mer, la sirène, la baleine. Chapon tombé dans la mer, la sirène, la baleine. Chapon tombé dans la mer, la sirène, la baleine. Chapon tombé dans la mer, la sirène, la baleine. Chapon tombé dans la mer, cap pété la sirène. Chapon tombé dans la mer, cap dansé c'est la sirène. Chapeau tombé dans la mer.
Boy, m'a fêté avec la sirène. Chapeau moi tombé dans la mer. T'as fêté avec la sirène. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. Hey, la sirène, la baleine. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. La sirène, la baleine. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. La sirène, la baleine. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. La sirène, la baleine. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. La sirène, la baleine. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. La sirène, la baleine. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. Hey, la sirène, la baleine. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. La sirène, la baleine. Chapeau tombé dans la mer. And chapeau tombé dans la mer means my hat has fallen into the sea. That's what happens when the passerbys are mesmerized by La Sirene's beauty.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that song. So actually uplifting. I like the vibe and the percussion. James wants to know, Claudia, you play so many instruments. How many instruments do you play and what instruments do you play?
So my first instrument is voice. I've been singing since I was a child. I picked up the flute when I was in 4th grade. And then because we had a shortage of brass players, I picked up the trombone. So I play flute, trombone, guitar, ukulele, small percussion, and
Casio.
Dan has me on the Casio these days. So yeah, those are my instruments.
You're a whole band in yourself. Yeah. That's awesome. Is there one that you're trying to practice, especially these days, like the quarantine? Are you practicing one, especially these days in particular?
I wouldn't say a new instrument per se. I feel like I'm just spending more time on the instruments I'm already working at.
Got it.
Yeah.
Katie in Boise, Idaho wants to know, what is your songwriting process? How do you go from taking an idea and knowing it's the right idea and turning that into lyrics and into a song?
That's a good question. I think one of the things about the songwriting is to do it. I think that the main thing is that the hours spent writing the more hours you spend trying to write songs, the more songs you'll write. I think that's really the main thing. And for me, I try and keep my brain out of the way. So that means in the evening is good, in the morning is good, before I'm fully awake. And sometimes, just for me, I can start judging things, or I can edit things. I can start editing when I only have one line written down. But then and the other thing too that I try to do is to not get discouraged. Some songs take a long time to write. Some songs will happen in a sitting. You can sit down and just blast through a song, but it seems like for me, I got to write a couple that take a while. But I think that another thing about it too is just to remember that songwriting is not. If for me it becomes an ego proposition, then it's not likely that it's going to go well. But if it's something that I can think of more as, this is God's work. God gives us the gifts, and how do we choose to use them? So we want to write songs. I mean, we can all write. Anybody can write a song. Come on, anybody can write a song. But I think, can we write songs that make the world a better place in some way? I think that's God's work, and I think that's what we strive for. I think that's what artists strive for.
I think my process is I hear things in melodies first, not necessarily the lyrics first. So for me, my phone is one of my best writing tools. I have an iPhone, so I use what's that called, the recording,
Voice
the voice memo section a lot. And a melody will fall into me. I think it's from God. And I just think, okay, let's record that and we'll come back to that. So I have a lot of songs that are started in my phone. Some are completed, but like Dan said, sometimes it takes time. But I hear melody first, and everyone's different. The process is different, but that tends to be my process.
Got it. Andy wants to know, in using your phone, have you ever accidentally deleted one of your songs, Claudia, and using the voice memo and be like, that was such a good song, and I accidentally deleted it?
I'm sure I have, Kabir. I'm sure I have. I feel like doing some updates sometimes without doing the backup or whatever you're supposed to do before you do the update. Yeah, I've definitely lost some things, and that is hard. But it happens. It doesn't happen often, but I think it is a good idea to record it and have it somewhere. And if you can have it in two places, that's ideal. But I don't tend to do that.
How often do you guys go into your drafts of stuff you've previously written that's unfinished and try to say, you know what, maybe it's time the song is complete? Do you do that often? Look through what you've done in years past and say, maybe it's time?
I do that when I can't come up with anything else.
Yeah.
Out of desperation, but sometimes I'll find that sometimes good things are in there.
Who do you guys both admire? Who are your top songwriter or songwriting influences?
Amy Ray, Emily Sailors, the Indigo Girls are my hugest writing inspirations. Love them. Folk duo. They're
Totally
incredible.
And you, Dan?
I like the older gospel composers, Thomas Dorsey, Charles Albert Tinley. They were the sort of earlier part of the 20th century gospel composers, and so I like black gospel music, and that's where it's good to have a soundtrack for what's on your mind and in your heart already. So and they were just they were just incredible writers, just from a craft point of view, incredible writers of melody and lyrics. So
Awesome. By the way, Sonia De Los Santos says you are the best at writing songs that make the world a better place.
Oh, that's a compliment coming from Sonia, because Sonia's songs are incredible.
Yes.
Sonia's a great songwriter.
What would you like to do for your next track?
We're going to do a song called No More Auction Block. And I think we want to dedicate this song as well to Ahmaud Arbery's family. Ahmaud Arbery, of course, is the young African-American gentleman who was essentially gunned down in Georgia back in February. And today, I believe, was actually his birthday. And he was a 25-year-old male. And so Dan and I want to share this song with you called No More Auction Block. No more auction block for me. No more, no more. No more auction block for me. Many thousand gone. No more pint of salt for me. No more, no more. No more pint of salt for me. Many thousand gone. No more driver's lash for me. No more, no more. No more driver's lash for me. Many a thousand gone. No more auction block for me. No more, no
Wow. So moving, and so moving and poignant. And I was saying it's so moving and poignant to hear that, especially on this day. What a tragedy, and that really resonated with me. I'm here in Georgia, and it's been quite a heavy story and a matter of what's happened recently. So thanks for playing that.
It's clear.
Music is certainly your tonic. I want to ask you, not only are you performing this music, you're putting it in book format. Talk to me about your book that you have completed.
I'm like, you can go for it.
Right. Yeah. This is the other thing we did when we started dating. Was make this, and it was so it's 64 songs from near and far, old and new, and they're songs to help people get their own music making together. So
We were inspired by, again, the idea of family. Back in the days when families after dinner would gather around the piano, they would play, they would sing together. All that kind of music making was alive and well in the house. So just encouraging people to pick up instruments once again. The songbook has incredible illustrations from our brother-in-law, Donald Saff. I did all of the notation for the instrumentation. Dan did these incredible essays at the start of every chapter. It gives you the background on each tune, where it comes from, who sung it, what book recommendations he has. I mean, it's really, it's beyond a book. There's just so much content there. So you can get lost for hours in this book.
What I love about you guys is that you're like it's real scholarship too. It's the song, it's the backstory, it's like some in-depth liner notes as well. Do you recommend this particular method of music instruction for kids? Sally wants to know. She says she wants to teach start her kids learning music. Is there a particular pedagogy or something? If someone wants to learn how to play the guitar, what do you recommend for a kid to start playing music?
My opinion, I think it really depends on the age of the child and their level of interest. For me, for example, I wouldn't start a child on piano before the age of 7, really. Just finger dexterity, looking at things like that. It takes a little time to really strengthen these muscles. But singing is a great way to start children off. I'm not sure how old Sally's kids are or what instruments they're interested in, but yeah, I think it's about paying attention to what kids seem to gravitate towards. Another method, I think, especially now while we're all indoors, is YouTube. It's incredible, right? There's so many videos out there too. Teachers that cater their lessons towards kids. But it depends on the age of the child and where their interest lies, I think.
I think, yeah, I agree with all that. And the other thing too, just on a very basic level, is to make your house a musical house. Mm-hmm. And so if you're a parent, you may have received some negative messages along the way. You may not feel that you are yourself musical. But so the first thing is to get over that, all right? And to start, in my life, I know my father could barely carry a tune, but I remember him singing Danny Boy and Worried Man Blues to me more than I remember any record that was ever played around the house. So it was just the fact that he was singing to me was really what mattered to me, and a parent singing to a child or singing around a child or singing around the house has much more power and much more influence than any class, any electronic media, anything else that we could bring into the house. The most critical thing is for the parents to be making music.
Absolutely. And I think because, again, we live in a day and age where we're blessed with technology, but oftentimes too, we leave it to the professionals. They can sing to me, or we can just push play and my child can be engaged in that way. But I think if we can think of it as becoming more, we have become music consumers more than we are music makers. So we need to think about that. How can we get back to the art of making music together collectively again?
And that was the sort of the spirit behind our songbook. Right. Was just we felt like people would eventually run out of excuses. It's like, well, hey, you want songs? We got the songbook. Ukuleles, they're affordable now. Like all these different things. There's so many. YouTube, the lessons are all there. All that stuff. It's a great time for casual music making, which is really the sort of the musical foundation of America.
And I hear, my parents talk about stories in Haiti. It's just such a natural way of life. And I love the idea of coming back to that kind of thing where we're all just singing and making music together after dinner.
Yeah. Jennifer has a question for you both. She says, I am currently in college and will be graduating this year. I would like to make a career as a musician and educator for children. What advice do you have for me on starting my career?
I mean, I think I think what I would suggest. Sorry, what's her name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, I would suggest as much volunteering you can do, connecting with agencies, schools, making sure they know who you are, your level of interest. I think as much experience as you can get will open your eyes to what age group do you want to be working with, where do you want to be working. So I would just say the volunteer piece, work that. That's my piece of advice.
I think that's great advice. And in that, I would say to think about. I think what's always helped us is if we can put the music in the context of how can we be useful, how can we be of service, whatever that might mean. It sounds a little loftier than it really ends up being, but how can we bring something to the party with our music? So I think if that's sort of the leading piece, and then the career piece can kind of fall in behind that, but it's just where can I be useful with the music? If that's the driver, then I think the other parts can fall into place.
Beautiful. Good advice. Great advice. I think you have one final song for us. What are you ending with today?
We do. Yeah, we didn't want to end with No More Auction Block, although that's been so much on our minds. And we will say also just, so you get the full picture is that, thinking about music and as an interracial couple, thinking about, the kinds of things, what's important to us, and what we've found has been tremendously important, has been talking a lot about race. And that's been, so to be able to do that with music and to, you can go to our Facebook pages today. We put out a fairly long essay for white folks, that I think is, can be encouraging, and so to try and, helping white people to think and talk more, be more comfortable getting into it, getting into this thing and talking about it is part of what we hope will come from this era that we're in now. And so, it's
more talking needs to happen. I think that's why we are where.
Yeah. And real quick, Dan, talk about the organization you started. I think that addresses this issue.
Yeah, it's one part of the puzzle, of the anti-racist puzzle. It's called Constructive White Conversations. You could go to constructivewhiteconversations.org and learn more about it. We have a fairly basic website. It started in New York about 8 years ago. It's a small group gathering on a regular basis for white people to speak amongst themselves. It's a white anti-racist affinity group. It's a way to develop white community. To many people, it sounds like a very weird idea that white folks gather together and talk about race. To many people of color, it's been suggested for generations that we get together and talk about race, because there's so much that we can be learning, and there's so much we can do better. We can be doing better. So this is, like I said, it's one piece of the puzzle. As a white affinity group, other pieces of the puzzle, of course, would include multiracial gatherings, would include action, street action, organizing. There's a number of different ways to be active, but Constructive White Conversations is small group gatherings to speak specifically about the white experience, white anti-racism, and so.
Got it. Sounds like a great initiative. And I appreciate you both for fostering and encouraging this dialogue. By the way, Gina in Minneapolis, she says, "You are such cool people and so talented. I hope you reschedule and come visit the Twin Cities soon."
We're coming, Gina.
All right. Let's hear your final number.
All right.
Man.
Where's the? Ooh.
I think
Oh,
it's
here it is. Oh, here. So this next song we're gonna close with "This Little Light of Mine." It's a song we've been singing for years and years and years, and there's a reason why. It's just such a positive message, and yeah, so we want to leave you with this one.
Sing along.
Thanks again, Kabir, for having us. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine.
Oh, all around the neighborhood.
I'm gonna let it shine.
All around the neighborhood.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine. All around the neighborhood.
I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine. Whoa, 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 I got the light of peace and love. I'm gonna let it shine. I got the light of peace and love. I'm gonna let it shine. Hey, I got the light of peace and love. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine. All right, here we go. Well, what's the promise to a doubting Thomas? What good's the sun if it can't go ahead every day and shine down upon us? Being brave enough to have the heart to say I love you. If we go way back, or even if I don't know you, this life will show you how beautiful things can be. Music will always show us how it is to feel the beat. So
Let's keep this light shining.
hey, yeah, yeah, I got the light of freedom.
I'm gonna let it
Whoa,
shine.
whoa, whoa, I got the light of freedom.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Oh, 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 I got the light of freedom.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine. All right, everybody, let's sing this one together. Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine. Kabir, are you there?
I'm here. They have the crowd is going. The crowd is going wild. We have all these effects. Thank you so much for being a part of this production. I do want to present you guys something. We like to ask the audience members to vote on what prize we should give you. So today, the audience has decided to give you the very prestigious award. This is now the Penguin Trophy. You're now the holders of the Penguin Trophy. Congratulations on this incredible honor.
Wow.
Would you like to make an acceptance speech?
I'll let you take it away.
Worth.
Truly honored. Grateful. We will take care of this.
Wanna
This
thank-
will go by Dan's Grammy. We'll put that right up there beside it.
We want to thank our mothers.
Awesome. I would also like to, I want to present to you. 1 second.
Wow, another.
Make sure I don't break my thing here. These are my mom's flower arrangement. That's for you too.
Oh, nice.
Thank you very much for your
Beautiful.
incredible show. So you guys are leaving this place with a Penguin trophy and my mom's fake flower arrangement.
Doesn't get
So-
better than that. Thank you, Kabir.
Of course. Thanks so much for being a part of it. You're welcome back anytime. I love your music. Everyone watching at home, go to Zanes, danandclaudia.com. And I'm trying to find the banner here. Trust me, it's called danandclaudia.com. There we go. Link at the bottom of the screen. Find them on all the streaming platforms and like and love them everywhere.
Thanks,
All right, so
guys.
that is the show for tonight. Yeah, that's the show for tonight. I want to give a shout out to Sandra and Camilo, the tech team and the incredible audio team that's with us. They're not producing the show tonight because you probably recognize everything is a little bit crazy because I have like 15 buttons to press and I'm operating the slides and everything. They are actually, let me put their link up on the screen, soundworksrecording.com. If you're an artist and needs any kind of music services, please go to that website. Mention one of their 2 dogs, Oreo or Maui, and you will get a discount. If you wanted to schedule an appointment to pet the dog, you can do that too. $5 a pet. $5 a pet. Yeah. So we like to monetize. They are actually what's happening. Sandra and Camila are part of a 24-hour live feed that's going on right now. And they've been working days and days on it. It's an initiative put on by the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. And it's an amazing, imagine producing 50 shows in a row. And they're doing that over incredible people. And I'm actually tonight going to go from hosting this to hosting a 4-hour segment from like 12 midnight to 4 a.m. And I'm presenting Jovino Santos Neto, a Brazilian pianist. So if you want to watch Jovino playing piano, check out, tune in around 12:30 midnight tonight for a 4-hour block of me hosting this. So that's what's going on over here. This weekend we have some incredible artists joining us. Martha Mook, violin player, Arwan Ortiz playing the piano. Lauren Henderson will be playing. And we have shows at 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. Both days, a matinee and a 10 p.m. And I think we're going to hit show number 70. So, and stay tuned for my mom on Sunday night. So that's the show. Everyone stay home, take care, and happy health and good health. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Kabir.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kabir.
Bye.